First Contact. The sirens wailed across Manhattan as Commander Sarah Chen stared at the massive holographic display in the United Earth Defense Command Center. The alien vessel had appeared without warning, materializing just beyond lunar orbit like a phantom in the night. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, stretching nearly 20 kilometers from bow to stern, larger than any human-made structure in space. "Report," Chen barked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The command center buzzed with controlled chaos as analysts and officers worked frantically at their stations. Dr. Marcus Rivera, the lead xenobiologist, pushed his way through the crowd. His dark eyes were wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. "Commander, the vessel's energy signature is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's putting out enough power to run all of North America for a year. Any attempts at communication?" Chen asked, her fingers drumming against the cold metal railing. "None that we can detect," Lieutenant Patel responded from her communication station. "But we're picking up massive energy fluctuations. They're scanning us, Commander. Every satellite, every defense installation, every major population center." Chen's jaw tightened. 20 years of military service had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, every nerve in her body was screaming danger. The alien vessel's arrival matched none of the first contact protocols that humanity had prepared for decades. "Get me the Security Council," she ordered. "And someone wake up the president." Before anyone could respond, the massive screens throughout the command center flickered. Static danced across their surfaces before resolving into an image that made Chen's blood run cold. The being that appeared was humanoid, but that's where the similarities ended. Its skin was a pale lavender, stretched tight over an elongated skull. Multiple sets of eyes blinked in unsettling synchronization. "People of Earth," the alien spoke, its words translated into perfect English by some unknown means. "I am High Commander Zax Thor of the Dominion. Your world has been chosen for integration into our empire. Resistance is not advised. You have one planetary rotation to surrender your governing authorities and military commands to Dominion control." The message repeated in every major language on Earth, broadcasting simultaneously on every screen and communication device across the globe. Chen watched as panic spread through the command center, but her mind was already racing ahead, formulating plans. "Dr. Rivera," she called out, "what can you tell me about their biology from this transmission?" Rivera was already analyzing the footage, his fingers flying over his tablet. "Their atmospheric requirements must be similar to ours if they're planning immediate integration. The physical structure suggests a silicon-based biology, possibly evolved under higher gravity conditions." "Vulnerabilities?" "Working on it, Commander. But if they're silicon-based, their thermal tolerance would be their weak point. They'd be susceptible to extreme temperature changes." Chen nodded, her mind already formulating the beginnings of a plan. "Lieutenant Patel, get me a secure line to all major military commands. Protocol Echo 7 Delta. Dr. Rivera, I want everything you can give me on their potential weaknesses in the next hour. And someone find me General Zhang, we're going to need the Quantum Defense Initiative." As her team sprang into action, Chen took one last look at the alien vessel looming in the holographic display. The Dominion had clearly expected Earth to roll over and submit. They were about to learn a harsh lesson about human nature. "Send an acknowledgement of their message," she ordered. "Tell them Earth's representatives will need the full rotation to coordinate our response." It wasn't a lie, they would respond. But not with the surrender the Dominion expected. Humanity had clawed its way up from the primordial ooze, survived countless extinction events, and built civilizations from the ground up. They weren't about to hand over their planet to the first aliens who came knocking. The clock was ticking. They had 24 hours to prepare Earth's defense. It would have to be enough. The hidden card. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Commander Chen stood before the gleaming surface of Project Prometheus. The massive quantum reactor pulsed with a soft blue light, its core containing humanity's greatest technological achievement, and possibly their last hope. "The targeting system is ready," General Zhang announced, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays surrounding them. "But Sarah, you need to understand, we've never tested this at full power. The simulations show a 40% chance of catastrophic failure." Chen watched as technicians scurried around the reactor core, making final adjustments. "And what are our chances against the Dominion without it?" "Zero," Dr. Rivera interjected, joining them at the observation window. "I've completed the biological analysis. Their ships are biomechanical, partially alive. The outer hull regenerates damage almost instantly. Conventional weapons would be like throwing rocks at a battleship." Chen nodded, her decision already made. "How long until the rest of the fleet arrives?" "Quantum readings suggest at least 12 more vessels approaching from the outer system," Lieutenant Patel reported through the comm system. "Estimated arrival in 18 hours. The commander turned to face her team, her expression resolute. "Then we have 17 hours to prepare our surprise." "Dr. Rivera, what about the temperature sensitivity you mentioned?" The scientist pulled up a complex diagram on his tablet. "Their silicon-based biology has a critical weakness. Rapid temperature fluctuations could shatter their molecular structure. The quantum reactor's energy pulse could create exactly that effect, if we can get it past their shields." "That's where I come in," a new voice announced. Major Diana Wright stepped out of the shadows, her Special Forces uniform bearing no insignia or rank markers. "My team has decoded their shield modulation patterns. We can create a microsecond window, but we'll only get one shot." Chen surveyed the room, meeting each person's gaze. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, but she saw no fear in their eyes. Only determination. "Then let's make it count." Threads of deception. High Commander Zaxthor stood before the Dominion War Council, his multiple eyes gleaming with anticipated victory. The holographic displays showed Earth's military forces scrambling in disarray, exactly as expected from a primitive species facing superior technology. "The humans continue to request more time," his subordinate, Sub-Commander Vex, reported. "They claim their planetary governance requires additional consultation." "Of course they do," Zaxthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Let them delay. It only gives us more time to position the fleet for optimal subjugation." But something was nagging at the High Commander's consciousness. Something about the humans' behavior pattern didn't match their historical data. Their military movements seemed chaotic, yet. "Show me their global energy distribution again," he ordered suddenly. The holographic display shifted, revealing power fluctuations across Earth's surface. Most showed panic-induced surges and brownouts, but there was an anomaly. A massive power sink somewhere in their northern continent, hidden beneath a mountain range. "Curious," Zaxthor mused. "Very curious." Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Chen's plan was unfolding. Civilian satellites were being subtly repositioned, each movement appearing random but following a precise pattern. Major Wright's team had inserted quantum resonators into the debris field around Earth, disguised as space junk. "Phase 1 complete," Wright reported from her stealth shuttle. "The resonator network is in place. If this works, their shields won't know what hit them." But the Dominion wasn't entirely blind to humanity's preparations. Sub-Commander Vex had noticed discrepancies in Earth's electromagnetic spectrum. "High Commander, I believe the humans are dash." The ship's sensors suddenly screamed warnings. Massive energy signatures erupted from Earth's surface, but they weren't weapons. They were decoys, powerful enough to mask the real threat building beneath the mountains. Zaxthor's outer membrane rippled with concern. For the first time since arriving at this supposedly primitive world, he felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: doubt. The pieces were in place. The trap was set. Now it all came down to timing, and humanity's ability to surprise an enemy that had conquered 1,000 worlds. The next few hours would determine whether Earth would be remembered as just another conquered planet, or as the world that brought the Dominion to its knees. Echoes of thunder. The quantum reactor's hum reached a fever pitch as Earth's deadline approached. Commander Chen watched the countdown timer with steely focus, each second bringing them closer to either salvation or annihilation. The underground facility vibrated with barely contained power. "Power levels at 90%, Dr. Rivera announced, his voice tight with tension. "The containment field is holding, but barely. We're pushing way beyond theoretical limits." Major Wright's voice crackled through the comm system. "Stealth team in position. Our probes confirm 11 more Dominion ships have entered the system. They're moving into attack formation." Above them, the Dominion fleet assembled like dark stars against Earth's atmosphere. High Commander Zaxthor had grown increasingly agitated by the humans' delaying tactics, but their apparent desperation had only fueled his confidence. "First wave, begin atmospheric entry," he commanded. "Target their primary military installations. Show these primitives the price of defiance." But as the Dominion ships descended, they triggered humanity's first surprise. The carefully repositioned satellites activated, creating a web of quantum interference. The alien ship's biomechanical systems suddenly found themselves processing conflicting data about Earth's gravity well. "High Commander," Vex shouted. "Our navigation systems are malfunctioning. The humans have somehow dash." "Impossible," Zaxthor snarled. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. Press the attack." Deep underground, Chen nodded to General Zhang. "Now." The quantum reactor exploded with energy, channeling its power through the hidden resonator network. Major Wright's team had positioned each device precisely, creating a lattice of quantum entanglement that encompassed the entire Dominion fleet. For a fraction of a second, reality itself seemed to hiccup. Shattered skies. The effect was instantaneous. The Dominion ship's biomechanical hulls, suddenly exposed to extreme temperature fluctuations through quantum tunneling, began to crystallize. Massive cracks appeared across their surfaces as their silicon-based structure fought against the laws of physics, and lost. "By the eternal void," Zaxthor whispered as he watched his mighty fleet begin to break apart. "What have they done?" Commander Chen didn't allow herself even a moment of celebration. "Second phase, now. All orbital platforms, open fire. Target their structural weaknesses." Earth's hidden defense grid awakened. Railguns concealed in satellites and asteroid bases launched synchronized volleys, their hypervelocity rounds finding the stress fractures in the Dominion ship's crystallizing hulls. Dr. Rivera stared at his readings in amazement. The quantum pulse didn't just affect their ships, it's disrupting their entire silicon-based biology. "Their crews are..." He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. "They're experiencing what we planned for," Chen said grimly. "A lesson about underestimating primitive species." But the Dominion wasn't finished. Despite their ships literally cracking apart around them, they launched a desperate counterattack. Energy beams lanced down from the scattered fleet, targeting major cities. Major Wright's team sprang into action, their stealth shuttles deploying emergency quantum shields over population centers. The technology was experimental, barely tested, but it was all they had. "We can't maintain these shields for long," Wright reported, her voice strained. "The power draw is massive." In orbit, High Commander Zaxthor made his final decision. "All ships, initiate total conversion. Take this world with us." Chen's eyes widened as she recognized the energy signature building in the remaining Dominion vessels. "They're going to self-destruct. The blast radius would sterilize half the planet." "Not if we finish this first," General Zhang declared. He turned to the quantum reactor control team. Divert all power to the resonator network. Everything we have. The gamble was simple: could they destroy the Dominion fleet before the ships could detonate? The fate of humanity would be decided in the next few minutes, as a quantum pulse powerful enough to shatter mountains raced against alien warships determined to take Earth with them into oblivion. The sky above Earth became a battlefield of light and shadow, as humanity fought not just for survival, but for the right to prove that intelligence and determination could overcome any technological gap.